Hey guys, so my name is Luthan Irenda. I am a student registered nurse anesthetist, and I am a registered nurse. I work in the ICU. I also go by Ellen Anesthesia, where this will be posted, and I'll be talking a little bit about travel nursing, school life, and ICU. So, and also just about who I am and things I like and enjoy, and just real world stuff. So, welcome you guys, and let's get into it. So finding a recruiter is really just about putting yourself out there. There's a lot of ways to do it. It's super easy. One way is to find somebody who's also travel nursing or has been travel nursing and just have them reference you. Like, it's a really great way for them to make some money because they're referring you, and also for you to find somebody who has worked with another ICU or med-surg or PCU nurse. Another great way is just simply to go on LinkedIn, create an account, and put that you're looking for travel nurse opportunities in the locations you're looking for, and people will just message you out of the blue instantaneously. So for me, what happened was I went onto LinkedIn, was making an account for school just to have like post-grad kind of thing, and then I had gone on there and set up everything, put what I was doing, which was just being an ICU nurse, and then a recruiter had followed me on Facebook and then messaged me, which was pretty interesting. And then we built a little relationship. She referenced me to somebody else. His name's Austin Morgan. If you ever need somebody, he works at Pluto Healthcare. Great guy. Here's your shout out, Austin. And then we were able to figure out our terms and things that I wanted. So I was wanting to do local travel nursing. So he, really helped out in finding those things for me. And another way you could do it is just simply going to apps like Vivian Healthcare or Aya Healthcare, and those two places can get you reference into the right job. So what ends up happening, you put in your information, your experience, your license, and then somebody will contact you based off of your information. Super easy way. Don't need to stress too much about it. If you want to travel nurse, there's a way to figure out how to do it. Hopefully that was a little bit helpful there. So how much money you can make? It's really dependent on what your terms of your agreement are. So what I did was I was a local traveler. So my rate was based on an hourly rate. So typically around here in Ohio, you're going to make anywhere from $26 to like $30 starting. But my rate was negotiable. So I went ahead and negotiated a little bit, and my starting rate was $100 per hour. That was my base rate for both my contracts. I think my second contract, I might have gone up a little bit to like 105. Relatively, it was basically the same. And the big thing there was my overtime rate was $165. For my second contract, my first contract was $145. So I negotiated that end of it too. I was making about $4,000 to $5,000, depending on how much I was working. And that's only just 3 days a week. And you think of an extra shift, you're getting for every hour over 40 hours that you're working, you're going to get $165 in my situation. And like I'm saying, every situation is really different, but you need to be able to just negotiate what you want in your terms. Another way that you'll get paid is through a stipend. So your stipend will be on top of your base rate. If you're traveling out of state, or if you're traveling over a certain amount of miles, usually like mine was like over 50 miles, I could have gotten a stipend for food and housing. Usually that stipend is going to be around $1,500 to $2,000 that you can use on top of your actual base rate that you're getting to. So you can really make anywhere from, I don't know how it was before COVID, but now rates are looking at $2,000 a week on the low end up to around $5,000, maybe $6,000 a week. That's if you got a really good recruiter and a really good situation. That's how that breaks down. So when we talk about taxes, making sure you understand your taxes is super important. One nice thing about being a local traveler is that your taxes are already taken out of your paycheck. Now, what that means for you is that your paychecks are going to be a little bit less, but you're making way more than you were when you were a staff nurse. If that's really the factor for you, then I don't know what to say, because $3,000 will get me out of bed any day of the week. When you talk about being a traveler where you're outside of the 50 miles or you're getting a stipend, you need to make sure that you're tracking what you're spending your money on in terms of your living, because you have to report that on your taxes at the end of the year. You can't just pretend to live 50 miles away from a facility when you're living within that mile range, because they can look up those things, and you don't want to be in a situation with the IRS and you could get fined and owe a lot of money. on the other end of that. It's important that you are keeping track of your tax home and then your physical home. So if you are a traveler where you live in Columbus, but you travel to Cincinnati and you stay in a hotel, you live at a friend's house, etc., you need to make sure that you are reporting those things properly, because if you don't, you can get in a lot of trouble for that. Just make sure that wherever you're staying, your name is on those 2 locations. If you are thinking about doing traveling and you're going to be getting a stipend, my best advice for you is to get a financial advisor or a tax agent, somebody who can handle your taxes for you or help you understand what options you have. You could learn how to do all these things, but now that you're in a different income bracket, sometimes it's better to let somebody else handle that for you. You don't want to be the person in charge of everything and have to worry about all these different documents and tracking. And if somebody else is doing that for you and guiding you in that, 1, they'll save you a bunch of money. 2, they'll save you from going to jail and even a fine. So just make sure that you have somebody on your corner, or if it's yourself, make sure you're educated in that field, because if you're not, you can miss something. And God forbid that you go from doing this traveling thing and you're loving it, you're working, you're helping out that facility and those staff members, to now at the end of the year, you're very worried because you didn't document all this stuff, or you did something incorrectly, and you might be losing a lot more money that you could have been making. One thing you're worried about now is, how am I going to get my health insurance? What am I going to do about that? It's easier if you're single, I would say. And obviously, if you have a family, that's going to be another situation that you have to deal with. Now, let's talk about those who have spouses. The easiest way to do is, if you're married, your other partner could hold the insurance while you could help out paying for that. That's one option you have. Now, what if I'm single? What if, I'm riding through life by myself? A great thing that a lot of healthcare facilities have in terms of, travel agencies is they'll offer you a healthcare plan. So my travel agency, Pluto Healthcare, did offer me a private healthcare plan that I could get health, I could get dental, and I could get vision. And then there's different tiers and options for that. Yes, it's pricey, but you have to remember you're making $2,000 to maybe $6,000 a week. That is more than you'll need, and it's definitely more than the expense of not having healthcare. You don't want to pay that stuff out of pocket. Go ahead and what you also can do is, if you go online to, like I said, LinkedIn before, it's a great resource, and you could just make a LinkedIn and just let people send you messages. I've had people who are healthcare advisors, private healthcare firms will contact me with different plans. So that takes the work out of it. Let somebody else do the work for you. You're going to these facilities to work, get the job done. Let somebody else take care of that end for you.